Welcome back to the Scrub Investor channel. In today's video, we're going to be discussing the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank and its potential implications for the US financial system, as well as the effects on the tech industry, especially those companies that are in the startup phase. So let's get into it. A quick recap. On February of 2023, or in February 2023, Silicon Valley Bank announced that it was filing for bankruptcy, and it cited mounting losses and a lack of liquidity. Now, of course, the news sent shockwaves throughout the financial world, and many analysts predicted that it could have significant consequences for the wider economy. A very fair analysis being that Silicon Valley Bank is primarily big in the tech industry, which has employed millions, thousands and thousands of Americans, right? So Silicon Valley Bank is a key player in the tech industry. It provides banking services for startups, venture capital firms, and companies in that realm. The bank was involved in funding, payroll services, you name it, regular deposits, they were involved. So the bank's trouble stemmed from the combination of factors, including overexposure to risky loans and aggressive expansion strategies. Well, some of this occurred during the COVID era as they were flushed with capital. The collapse signaled that even the most prominent tech companies aren't immune to the financial troubles that now, I believe, are on the horizon, right? This is important because I believe that going forward, venture capitalists, both small and large, are going to be highly scrutinized or going to scrutinize newer startups. Now, this begs us to think, does this mean that the smaller startups, the average guy running a startup, is going to have harder time getting funding? Are we going to see less innovation because of this? Or are we going to see the same big companies, the big tech companies, being the individuals that are having to acquire and be the companies that are initiating new innovation? So, in my opinion, I think this is bad for the small guys, right? Because I think a lot of guys are going to struggle to find funding. So, additionally, a disruption like this could lead to a loss of confidence in the wider tech sector, which has been a driver, like I said earlier, for jobs in the US for at least the last 10 to 20 years. So, this isn't a small event by any stretch and shouldn't be taken lightly. So, what are the potential implications? Well, the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank will have far reaching consequences for the US financial system, but also globally, right? We're going to see companies like the issue going on with Credit Suisse starting to show. First and foremost, it has triggered a wave of panic amongst investors here and depositors, leading to a run on other banks and a withdrawal of money from smaller banks to much bigger banks like the JP Morgans and the Bank of America. An early example of the effects is already being seen in small banks. Like, just look at what's happening to First Republic Bank and banks of that nature, right? Events like this only lead to a broader credit crunch. It's going to make it harder for businesses and consumers to access credit. The average person is going to see it's going to be harder to get the credit that they need to start a business. So let's take a step back and discuss how credit is viewed from a bank's perspective. So banks take the deposits that we deposit to them and they're able to multiply that money, right? When they multiply that money, they take it and they can send it or they can loan it out to other businesses and individuals looking for a loan, and they turn a profit on that, on the interest that they charge them. Now of course, we, the individuals who deposit our money, we don't make a ton of money from keeping your money in the bank. That's another problem, and that's why it's important to become an investor and learn how to be one. So what's the government's response so far? Well, the president came out on Monday and he spoke on the issue, and he notified us that he would be guaranteeing the deposits for individuals, even deposits greater than what is originally promised by FDIC. The Federal Reserve has already injected liquidity into the banking system to prevent a wider credit crunch. So other developments worth noting is that we are still on the cusp of a potential rate hike from the federal government. Next week, Jerome Powell is set to release his rate number. Well, prior to Silicon Valley Bank's collapse, the speculation was about 1/4 to 0.5% for most analysts. Now, I've seen individuals talking about a potential 1/4 as the max, some even saying no increase, and some even potentially thinking a decrease in the Fed rate. Now, I don't believe that we will see a decrease. I think the least we will see is a no increase, but zero, I think, is my bottom. So in conclusion, the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank is a significant event it's going to have an immense consequence for the US financial system. We'll continue to monitor this event and we'll continue to provide updates as they become available. I want to thank you guys so much for watching the video. Please make sure to leave your comments letting me know what you think. I would like to know where you guys are putting your money. Are you taking them out of the big banks, or are you taking them out of the small banks, putting them in the big banks? Are you transferring them over to Bitcoin? And also make sure to support the channel. Make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And until next time, peace.